So David was one of the kings of Israel, but before he was the king, he was a little boy. And he was the youngest of 8 boys. We don't know how many sisters. There had to be sisters, though, because we know he had sisters, because they mentioned their children in Scripture. But 1 Samuel and 2 Samuel is almost all about King David. So where do we start? We'll be here all day. So as the youngest son, he was in charge of his dad's sheep. So he had to be out by himself as the youngest watching the sheep. And he had to have good character so that he could become the king, right? You have to have good character to become the king. So what did we talk about? We've talked about obedience, right? What is obedience? Oh, there you are. Say it again. That's right. Doing what you're told when you're told with a happy, submissive spirit. Is it different than compliance? Oh, yeah. So, do I want you to be submissive or compliant? Submissive. Okay. All right. How about, do you think he had to pay attention? What's paying attention? Okay, I heard one of you. Listening with your ears, eyes, and heart. Okay, paying attention. So he had to pay attention, right? He had to pay attention to the sheep and maybe beyond the sheep. Maybe he had a dog like Amos. Anatolians come from that area. Wouldn't that have been something?
Maybe he's a descendant from Amos.
Maybe.
I mean, descendant from
Yeah.
Amos is a descendant from them.
Yeah.
I knew what you meant.
Wouldn't that be cool?
I knew what you meant. Same breed. Same breed. Okay, an order. Do you think he had an order in a way that maybe his life was kind of in an orderly fashion, or do you think maybe he just did whatever felt good? Order, huh? Right. A place for everything and everything in its place. He probably knew where his sling was. He probably had his sling and stones in his pouch on his belt, so it was right there. He didn't have to go looking for it, right? Okay. All right. Do you think he was determined? We talked about determination last week, remember? You remember determination? That's a new one for us. Determination. Let's see. It's strength despite the challenge or the hardship. Does it mean you're going to succeed? Not necessarily, right? But if you're determined, what happens if you fall down? Yes, you get back up, right? You get back up. Okay. All right. So today I want to teach you about diligence. Let's see if I can find that picture. Using all of my efforts, resources, abilities, thoughts, and my whole heart to accomplish a task. Wow, that sounds like one of the things we said at the beginning in the Shema. Right? I think it was. Didn't we read that? Ve'achavta et Adonai Elohecha b'kol levecha, and you shall what? Love the Lord your God with all your heart. Yuvechol nefshecha yuvchol meodecha, with all your being, your essence, every breath. That looks like diligence, doesn't it? Oh. You know, just before the Shema in Deuteronomy, it says that the parents are to teach these diligently to the children. Uh-oh. So it's not just for you, is it? Okay. Oops. Pay attention. All right. Diligence is using all of my efforts, all of my strength, all of my mind, all of my abilities, right? Resources that I have, my whole self to do a task. That's being diligent. So, on Wednesday, was school fun? It was? Was it fun the whole time? No. It was not fun the whole time. But did you persevere? Were you diligent? Yeah, it wasn't necessarily fun, but we stuck to the task and we got it done, right? That's diligence, okay? When we're making dog food, you mentioned that this morning. Yeah. And you're doing the labels. Do you finish the labels I give you to do? Most of the time? That's diligence, okay? Sticking to the task, even though, how many more do I have to do? That's diligence. Sticking to the task and doing it your best and giving it your all. Okay? All right. That's diligence. All right. Okay. So I want to read you out of 1 Samuel. All right. Okay. So David is the youngest. His brothers are in the army with King Saul. Okay? And his father tells him, take your brothers 5 bushels of roasted grain and these 10 loaves of bread and hurry up and carry them to your brothers to the camp. So David got up early in the morning and he left the sheep with a helper and he took his load and he set out and he arrived at the barricade of the camp just as the troops were going out to the battle and shouting out the war cry. And he left all the equipment and here's what happened. Down here at verse, where is it? 23. As he was talking with brothers, right? He says, there came the champion, the Philistine from Gath named Goliath, from the ranks of the Philistines saying the same words as before, and David heard them. What did he say? He said, bring out a champion. You know, this man was big. He was 9 feet tall. He was a big soldier. And all of the warriors, he said, send out one man to come fight me. And nobody would go. And he did this day after day after day after day after day. And then David shows up. He's a young, I don't think he's a boy, like your age boy.
Probably
Like
14.
teenage.
I think he's somewhere between your ages, okay? So he's still a boy,
Between
but he's
12.
a young man, all right? And he gets really indignant, like, he's insulting God. He goes, I'll fight him. I'll do it. You've got all these experienced soldiers. And he's saying, I'll fight him. I wonder how he had the courage to do that. Let's find out. So the king calls him. Let's jump down to verse 31. David's words were overheard and told to Saul, who was the king, who summoned him. And David said to Saul, no one should lose heart because of him. Your servant will go fight this Philistine, this dirty heathen. I don't care. Is David looking at how big he is? No, because if he was, he'd be afraid. Like all the men in the camp. He wasn't looking with ease.
So Goliath was like yelling out, saying, come
Yeah,
fight
send me a champion.
Bring one man.
He went out day after day saying, bring me one man, one champion to fight me. And if he beats me, we'll be your servants. But if I beat him, you're all going to be our servants. And they were all afraid.
I bet his voice was like 3 times bigger or deeper. 'cause
Could
he's so
be.
big.
Well, I mean,
Could
imagine
be.
basketball players. He's taller than that.
Yeah.
He's a big man.
He's a big man.
Yeah, he's like a big.
Yeah.
Like, make
Yeah.
Shaq look short.
Yes. So Saul says to David, I'm going to pick on you. You can't go out there and fight him. He's a big man. He's a seasoned soldier. Who are you? You're a little boy. Or a little girl. In this case, it's boy, right? Don't let size and age stop you. You can't fight him. He's been a warrior from his youth. Here's what David said. Your servant used to guard his father's sheep. Oh. See, when you're given a task by mom and dad, don't begrumble it. Don't learn from it. Because whatever you're going to learn from it, I promise you, you're going to use it later on in life. Everything that I learned as a child, I wish I learned it a little bit easier and a little bit faster because I've used all those lessons in my adulthood. Some of them I had to relearn as an adult because I didn't learn them correctly as a child. Ouch. Not King David. Oh, he's not king yet. Okay. He said, your servant used to guard his father's sheep. And when a lion, a what? A lion or a bear would come and grab from the flock, I would go after it, hit it, snatch the lamb from its mouth. Would you like to go get a lamb out of a bear's mouth? How about out of a lion's mouth? Any takers? Anybody want to go up to a lion or a bear and take the lamb out of its mouth? That's what you call righteous anger, righteous indignation. How dare you take my father's sheep? David ran to trouble. These men were all trying to avoid it. Careful when you go someplace with me. Trouble has a way of finding us. Your servant, I would go after it, I would hit it and snatch the lamb from its mouth. And if it turned on me, I would catch it by the jaw. You want to catch a bear by the jaw? How about a lion? And I'd kill it. See, David, as a shepherd, learned lessons. Everything you do, you can learn from. Every single thing you do, you can learn from. Did you learn anything this week, Juice and Lemons? I'm picking on you.
No.
You didn't?
I was just juicing.
Oh, we're going to do it again.
It was a workout.
Are you home this week too?
No.
Oh, all right. Okay. You better ask him what you're supposed to learn. Or we'll be doing it again.
Yeah.
You should have learned that life can be pretty sour sometimes. But God will sweeten it up.
Oh. So, everything in life is a lesson and learn it. And David was diligent. Okay? He used all of his effort. He put his whole self into, he was in charge of those sheep. They were his father's sheep. And he was going to do it. He was going to be diligent about it, okay? All right. That's your lesson. Using all of your efforts, resources, abilities, thoughts, and your whole heart to accomplish a task, okay? All right. Is that it? I think that's it.